Hello and welcome to the Green Machine Live. I was going to do the whole introduction now, but this is too important, damn it. This is the Irish squad. I got my shirt on. I even had the lanyard on straight away and my journalist mug. That is how we are going about this. Lads, Irish squad is out before we get your reaction. And your reaction back home, of course. We are happy to take your comments and tell us what you think. Let's have a look. Squad announcement. Goalkeepers, Callagher, Bazunu, Travers. There's a shock. In defence, we have Seamus Coleman, Cyrus Christie, and the Stevens, Ryan Manning, James McLean, Shane Duffy, John Egan, Nathan Collins, Darragh Lenihan, and Dara O'Shea. Then in midfield, we have Conor Hourihane, Josh Cullen, Jeff Hendrick, Jason Malumbi, Alan Brown, and Jason Knight. And in the forward department, we have Colin Robinson, Troy Powers, Scott Hogan, Will Keane, Benny. Michael Abafemi, Young
CJ.
Hamilton, CJ Hamilton, yes, sorry, and Festi Evaseli. As you can see there, nothing changes, lads. Still butchering some of the pronunciations. Let's be honest, we won't bother with the goalkeeper situation because let's be honest, that is that's a given. Are we happy? Let's go through.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. Let's go through the positions, I suppose, lads. Defence. Cyrus Christie recently just released by his parent club Fulham after a decent season at Swansea, to be fair. Just not really feeling any love at Fulham. Are we happy to see him back, or should he be cast aside like he has been at club level?
No, look, he's had a very good season for Swansea, hasn't he? Like the last 3 or 4 months, he's gone out and loan there. Didn't play for a long time. Got a couple of goals, got a couple of assists. Enda Stevens is another one, actually. Like, I'm delighted to see him back because he's our best available fullback, and he's a proper wing back. So I think him and McLean are probably going to share those duties. I mean, it's a lot of games in 10 days, isn't it? Like, I think it's a very small squad considering. So that's not going to be the final squad at all. But the two fullbacks there, like Christie and Stevens, look, it's good to see them in. I think Danny McNamara possibly should have been in there. But Christie, he gets a lot of stick, doesn't he? But he's in form and he had a good season. Manning was on the opposite side of him, wasn't he? So I think it's a wise decision. But I think from a developmental or a long-term point of view, it's a shame McNamara isn't in there because he's a smashing player. But Ebisele can play right back as well, can't he? So we'll see how they go.
Martin, your thoughts on the defence?
It's strange when like Jimmy Dunn. I don't know, is he injured or what's the situation with him? Why he's not got a call up? But I think we're obviously missing Doherty. Look, Christie's not a bad person to have in the squad. He's had quite a good season, as Nick said. We also know he can do a job in midfield if needed. So that could be something up Stephen Kenny's sleeve. Be pretty gutted if I was a midfielder and he's getting selected in front of you. But look, those days are gone, aren't they? So I'm hoping that this is, it's a Christie call up. I think, I'll be honest with you, I think one of the views on that is that he is, I think, a little bit of loyalty to him as an Irish international, keep him in the shop window, basically. He's going to be working on a move, obviously, that he's been released from Fulham. So, it gives him a bit of kind of reputation, I suppose, that, he's an Irish international and he's a free transfer and keeping him in the shop window for someone to acquire him next season.
Okie dokie. Let's have a look at the midfield situation. So obviously we've gone through the players there. Jeff Hendrick. He was always going to get in. I mean, he does seem to play quite well actually for Ireland, but he hasn't started or hasn't played in any of QPR's last few games. In fact, very divisive figure, isn't he always? And he's actually, let's be honest, he's not going to play at Newcastle ever again because they're just moving on up. But he still has managed to get his way back in. Conor Hourihane as well. He's a loan signing, isn't he, from Aston Villa to Sheffield United. I mean, his days are probably done at Villa as well.
Yeah,
and of course, Jason Malumbi.
He's gone.
Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry, Dave. No, sorry. Yeah, no, I was just saying how Hourihane, he put out a statement when he went out on loan. And it more or less said that he was gone. Like, it more or less was thanking the Villa fans for all their support and that he'd be moving on. But I mean, the thing with Hendrick, I mean, he's done very well under Kenny, hasn't he? But I don't know who else gets in there. Like, Conor Ronan's not in the squad. I don't know if that's an injury or what it is, but he's the type of player we need to be calling up. He's the type of player that be suited to international football. So Hendrick, a lot of us will kind of give out, I think, but I don't know who else gets in there. Like Malumbi's hit a bit of form for West Brom. For me, I think he's a good bit off international football. This really has to be the international window that he comes in and he actually makes an impression, because he hasn't done that so far. Alan Brown is another. I mean, if it wasn't for his club form, he'd be nowhere near an Ireland squad, because he's not able for it.
Yeah, poor Alan Brown.
He's not. But lads, when has Alan Brown, like, he scored a great goal against Belgium, didn't he? But on the ball over 90 minutes, when has Alan Brown shown that he's able for international football?
He played all right in Slovakia at that time, but yeah, look, I think he's not one for the future, is he? I think he's at the level where he is being at Preston. He gets a lot of benefit from being their captain as well, I think, reputation-wise. But yeah, look, I don't think he's one for the future. But yeah, look, I think one of the things we don't know now, it'd be interesting to see the press conference later on of, for example, Conor Ronan, why he's not in it. Even there'll be questions I'm sure I've asked about Aaron Connolly when we come on to talk about forwards. But, it's always interesting with these squads. It is an early squad as well. 27 players, not massive. But, I think there's people to look at there that might be there in the future.
Yeah, I mean, actually, just going back to the defenders there, we in fact have a comment. I'll direct that one to you, Nick. But I mean,
lovely.
also no Jimmy Dunn either. What does that lad have to do to get in? I mean, he was made captain, wasn't he, for a couple of games for QPR? Very, very well respected there at club level. But is it just a case of, we're just absolutely spoiled for choice in the defense department that poor Jimmy Dunn can't get in? Or
we've so much depth there, don't we? We've so much depth, and I mean, Darragh O'Shea, is he fully fit? He's gotten a run of games for West Brom, hasn't he? Dunn, no, you have to feel for him, because he plays in a very similar system, and then you've got John Eustace, who's his coach at QPR, isn't he? So it's an unusual one. Yeah. So I don't know if it's the same as Mark Sykes. Like, the two of them came into the last squad and they're not there now. So is it the thing that Kenny just doesn't fancy them, or what it is? But like, we saw much depth. Like, Omar Bamadele is injured, and when he comes back into full fitness, he's ahead of Dunn, isn't he? So it's a difficult one, and he seems good. Yeah, he seems a good lad, Jimmy Dunn, which is disappointing. But look, we're spoiled for choice there, really, aren't we?
Yeah, no, I do feel a bit bad for him. Just one of the comments there covered in, Nick.
Lovely.
From Breffney Behan. Enda Stevens is not a proper wing-back, fella. Because of an exclamation
That's
point.
the only position he's played, Breffney.
Not sure what you've been watching. Great to have Christie back, to be fair.
Not a proper wing-back. He's only played wing-back. Like, he's... I mean, he's done, what did he do? 2 seasons in the Premier League as a wing-back. He was clocked as one of the fastest players in the Premier League. He's a proper wing-back.
At his peak before he got his injury, which is sort of debilitating, which he might, because of that, might actually not be able to play wing-back as effectively. But yes, he was actually the second fastest player in the Premier League. Breffney.
If you're watching football, he's a wing-back. I'm not being funny, but like, it's... Well, I don't know if you disagree with me there, lads, but Enda Stevens is a left wing-back.
Well, to be fair, but Martin O'Neill was manager, he'd be probably playing
midfield or something, yeah.
An hour before it comes on. Right, let's move on to the forwards. Oh, let me take that comment off first. So onto the forwards there. So Callum Robinson, we love him. We love Callum Robinson, but West Brom fans don't seem to love him. Troy Parrott has been excellent for MK Dons. Really, really come on. Despite... you hear some on Lansing Road and Green Machine giving out about Troy Parrott. Scott Hogan. Martin, you got a bit of stick on one of the platforms because he was in your squad announcement.
I mean, look, I predicted him to be in the squad, but I don't, I think he does offer something. He's had quite a good season, but, I don't think he's one for the future. I think if Adam Ida's there, he's going to be above him. He doesn't offer enough for me as an international player, but look, he obviously likes him. He likes looking at him. He offers something different, very similar to James Collins, who's not in the squad. I think it's a flip between them two to say which one you're going to go with, and I think that's where he's gone with Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, Will Keane there as well, League One Golden Boot winner. Benny, Chelsea and Benny.
This makes me laugh. Chadozi. Didn't you see? Wasn't there a massive interview with him recently, an exclusive somewhere? I saw. Oh yeah, there was a school thing he did. He done a launch thing, and see he was down as Cork as well. Look, he's a really likable lad, Ogbene. Brilliant to see him in the squad. He's probably one of the first names on the team sheet, which was again quoting someone from an interview I've seen recently. But look, I obviously we all love Ogbene.
Was that the one with Ronaldo? Was it?
No, that was a different one. But no, brilliant. Brilliant to see him in the squad, fully expected. And I like I said, kind of the point I kind of lost track of myself earlier. To be honest, I think what we have to see is the people who aren't here, perhaps why. We don't know if any of them are managing injuries. For example, I'm going to obviously get him into every podcast we always chat about, likes of O'Dowda is injured. When is he going to be back? He's not going to be in this squad. Obviously, he's not playing. He's looking for a team. And that's what you just don't know. Even James Collins, we don't know his injury situation, whether he was actually available or not. So this is what I'm looking forward to seeing when Stephen Kenny talks a little bit later, because I'm sure he'll be asked about the players who aren't there. But actually, let's focus on the 27 who are available at the moment.
He's transparent. He's transparent, Kenny, and he's on at 1:45, isn't he? And he is very transparent. I think Ronan, I'd hope Ronan is managing an injury because he has to be in the squad. I mean, he has to be in the squad. Anthony Scully's another one. He's kind of gone under the radar, but he's got about 15 goals or something this season. Maybe not that many, but he's contributed a huge amount of goals, and he hasn't played that many games this season because of injury. But look, it's great. It's two new caps. Hamilton and Ebisele. Ebisele's been in and out of the Derby squad because of his situation, I suppose, isn't it, with the pre-contract. But Hamilton got a little bit of stick, didn't he, on Green Machine?
Yeah,
from a couple of people.
Just have a comment there, actually. Darrell O'Connor, a huge fan of the show, and we love hearing from you guys, by the way. CJ Hamilton, only one I didn't recognize. 23 appearances and 5. He does correct it. 5 goals this season for Blackpool. Probably just there to make the numbers up. What you reckon, Lance? Does Darrell have a point?
I think no, he's done well. I've just looked at reports. I haven't seen that many clips of him, but I've looked up a lot of match reports and I've looked up a lot of fan forums from Blackpool, and it just seems that he's a big, tall, powerful winger, really, really direct. We don't know. I know it's not a massive deal, but we don't have that many left-footed wingers. And just for balance, I think that's always nice to have. So I think he is in there to maybe try things out a little bit. But if history with Stephen Kenny has taught us anything, a lot of new caps have to wait a couple of windows to actually get their debuts. Like you look at Mark Sykes in the last squad, he didn't get a call up. But I think he can offer something to Hamilton. He's one of these guys, you never know. He might just adjust to international football. But I know Blackpool on the surface it's not very sexy, unlike ourselves,
Unlike, we are live and sexy, as always. Darrell O'Connor has another comment. Wouldn't have minded seeing Jack Byrne included in the squad, a playmaker that could open up the likes of Armenia. Wouldn't start other two. I know we sometimes struggle against weak opposition. I think we've said this before. Jack Byrne, 2 players that are quite unique, although they're quite similar, but don't get into the Ireland team for different reasons. Of course, one is Robbie Brady, and obviously Jack Byrne there as well. 2 very similar players can open up. They offer something different. But Jack Byrne, is he ever going to get into an Ireland squad again playing for Shamrock Rovers?
I mean, look, Nick will know a lot more about the League of Ireland than I would. We do need to see find this player who can do that, because I think we said before, when the teams are lying deep against us, as Lithuania did, they're not coming out to play. Basically, you have to be able to unlock them. And you need to be able to play quick, clever football, and that's what Jack Byrne does. He has that in his locker. So does Robbie Brady. We don't really have that in that squad here. I know we'll try and pigeonhole someone in to try and do that. Maybe Jason Knight, but a bit unfair on him. Perhaps he could do that. And Troy Parrott perhaps could as well. But I think that's what we're looking for. But I think basically what we've got here in this squad as well is a very pacey forward line. He's really setting himself up here with the wing backs, I think, and then also just explosive pace, free up front in a way.
Would he not, though?
Will get up and down.
Would he not be good, though, to have as a plan B? I mean, I know people are probably going to watch this going, fucking League of Ireland. But to be fair, he would be good to have as a plan B. I mean, Scott Hogan, not being bad to Scott Hogan, but let's be honest. More than Hamilton, I reckon Scott Hogan's there to make up the numbers. Would you not put a Jack Byrne in there just to bring on, even if he's not starting, just to bring on in case we're struggling against a smaller team of Armenia?
Why plan B? I mean, I've watched
Plan B.
Yeah, like I've watched a bit of Byrne this year. Like I'm a Bows fan. I watched him in Daily Main Park there last month. And he tore us to shreds. Danny Mandrew's another one at Rovers. Like these types of players are better suited to international. Well, look, they haven't played, so I can't actually say
Well, no,
that. But like,
Jack Byrne, to be fair, has never let Ireland. Whenever he's played, and yes, it's been a very limited amount. He's never put in a bad performance. He never
he's been comfortable. He's been comfortable. Like and Alan Brown. I know I give Alan Brown a tough ride, but I mean, if you watch him for Preston, he's excellent. You know, like he pops up with goals. Like he gets into goal scoring positions. We've seen that with Ireland, but over 90 minutes doing a job in midfield, he is not comfortable in an international midfield.
But Jack Byrne play.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, and he serves a function for Preston. I think to an extent he serves a function for us, maybe off the bench, trying to get into those goal scoring positions. With Jack Byrne, because he's so comfortable on the ball, and if you look at the tempo of international football, it's much slower. It's much more tactical. It's more of a chess game. And the likes of Jack Byrne or the likes of Danny Mandrew, they do have that ability when they have that bit of time on the ball to open up your defenses, like your Armenians. Like I don't think Jack Byrne is gonna play against your, do you remember the last the campaign under Mick? Like he wouldn't play him against Switzerland and he wouldn't play him against Denmark. Like I don't think that's going to happen. But when you are playing these teams who do have a tendency of sitting back, like Alan Brown isn't going to open it up. No. Jason Knight might be able to. Like I mean, he showed against Lithuania that he can unlock the doors, can't he? But Byrne, I don't know why he doesn't just draft him in to see how he gets on.
Yeah,
like he is going to offer more than Brown, in my opinion. Hogan, I mean, obviously Hogan's a centre forward rather than a midfielder. But if you're talking about impact off the bench, I mean, Byrne is going to make more happen than Hogan playing down the middle, isn't he?
But I mean, he's brought in, so he's going to play like. I'd imagine he's going to play a three. He's going to play 3 to back. He's going to play 5 at the back, really. 3 center defenders, 2 wing backs, 3 in midfield.
Probably 2. I'd say 2 central midfielders and probably 3 up front. Like 2 number 10s, as he likes to say. But like Byrne will fit into that. Like that. That's where Byrne plays for Rovers. Like Rovers play a 3-4-3 or whatever way you want to put it. 5-4-1, and Byrne plays in the wide position there. So I don't know why he doesn't just give him a bash. No. Danny Mandrew as well is another.
I would have Jack Byrne in the number, not sound just the squad in terms of numbers. I would have Jack Byrne in there over Scott Hogan, quite frankly, because I don't think Scott Hogan has ever contributed anything in an Ireland shirt, and he has been setting the world on fire at Birmingham, even though he is playing in the championship. Let's just continue through this squad here. Obviously, we've mentioned Eboseli, discipline problems or attitude problems because he's going to Udinese on the 1st of July, I think it is actually. But Michael Obafemi, now, we must be very happy. How many goals he got? 12 goals this season. Is it 12 goals?
Something like that.
For Swansea.
12 and 16, yeah. This is brilliant news, I think. First call-up since 2018. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's 4 years since that night in Aarhus where Martin O'Neill brought him on. And yeah, look, who would have had that bet basically that he wasn't going to kind of flourish and be given a chance? He was, been made basically to commit to Ireland in that capping of him that night. I know the rules have changed a little bit since. Look, we've questioned his attitude and stuff. This is something that we've asked for a long time of him to settle down, start scoring goals and make yourself, you've got to make yourself pickable for this team. He can't ignore you if you're actually doing your job. That's what he's actually done. So I think fair play to him. I mean, look, he's 22-year-old now, isn't he? He's moved on. Absolutely brilliant that he's in the squad. Really excited to see him. He offers us something different. I think he's a more composed footballer now. His finishing is quite clinical as well. I want to see this guy unleashed, and I think it'll be absolutely brilliant if he gets time and scores goals. Look, we've questioned his attitude. He's now going to be in the squad. This is the proof of the pudding for him, though. He's got to actually settle down into the squad, not be the big man around the squad like I think other people act sometimes who are not in the squad this time. And I think that's what we're going to have to see. I really want to see him hit the ground running.
Yeah, I mean, you just touched on it there, Martin, didn't you? Like his attitude has been. He was kicked out of the squad, the Swansea team that is, and then he said, yes, his attitude isn't great. He's got all the ability in the world. It's all about attitude, as another player we'll talk about in a second comes into it. But Nick, I mean, this is really good news, isn't it, for the Irish team? Michael Obafemi, our most prolific goal scorer this season, at a very good level of championship, very tough league. And now he's back in the Ireland team. Didn't get off to the best of starts, if you remember, when he was left out of the first squad when he was at Southampton, and I think he said disgraceful, and then it was quickly deleted.
He's knuckled down, like, and I mean, my big thing with him, having watched him, is his movement. Like, he's scoring a lot of goals, and his finishing is excellent. But if you look at the timing, if you just look up any clips, or if you try and get the full match coverage, and it's hard to do, like, but if you can try and do it, and if you watch Obafemi, his movement reminds me of Robbie Keane's. Like, he's not gonna score or whatever 60-something goals or get 100-something caps, and he's not gonna be one of the Premier League's top scorers. But his movement's very similar. If you look at how he reads the line, if you look at how he times his runs, if you look at his pace getting in behind defenses, very similar to Robbie Keane. And his finishing is excellent. I mean, he scores all kinds of goals. He's 5'7", and he scored a couple of headers. Like, so, you know, in terms of an all-round striker, if he fits into Stephen Kenny's system, and he plays a similar one as Swansea, doesn't he? They play a 3-4-3. If he fits into that, I think he can be a very, very potent attacker. I think he's more mobile than. Huh?
It's what we'd be missing, hasn't it? Like,
yeah, I think he's our most mobile striker.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him and Troy Parrott actually playing together, because I think you know, they're just
good balance,
very good balance, very different players, which is lovely.
He's totally different, isn't he? To, like, even if you think of like Adam Eder up front and Robinson as the focal point, and even Will Keane, he's just totally different. I probably kind of slated him quite significantly over the years. I always said that he just reminded me, his physique, of just like I wanted to see the footballer develop. He looked like a sprinter, basically, a 200-meter sprinter. That was his physique. That's all he had, was power. Now I think he's actually knuckled down, and he's got his football ability coming through. Yeah. You know, we had questioned his attitude. I think hopefully he's left all that behind now, because this is a massive opportunity for him. Like, you know, it's a sliding doors moment. He's missing, like, Adam Eder's not there competing with him for that space, and probably would have been, if he'd stayed fit, he probably was going to be our leading main man. This is an opportunity now to cement your place in this, because I think even you think about Robinson, I prefer him off the left, to be honest. So that's that position maybe for him. Ogbene on the right, that central position is definitely there for it. And I think he offers something totally different to likes of Hogan, Will Keane. They're a little bit different to it.
Here's one for you though, lads. Troy Parrott plays on the right in a 3-4-3, and you know, Callum Robinson's best games for us have been on the left, haven't they? So if you had Parrott on the right and dropping deep, and if you had Robinson on the left, and if you had Obafemi down the middle, like that's an idea, isn't it? Like, Kenny wants to play with two number 10s, doesn't he? And then where do you put Ogbene? But like, that's a very solid front three.
Yeah,
if you think about it,
it's an amazing pace. I think, you know, like, we're struggling for the player in midfield who can unlock it when we need it. But I think Parrott is the one for that. Actually, I think he's very clever, and he's mobile. Yeah. He gets around, drops into pockets. I think he's a key one there as well.
That midfield is definitely. I mean, goalkeepers were absolutely rock solid. Defense as well. Forwards, it's coming on nicely. Midfielder wise, I mean, that brings us to some of the options that we're missing. You know, James McCarthy, no surprise there that he's probably never ever going to get into the Ireland squad, is he?
No, not a hope.
Yeah. That's it now. That's gone. That day.
Pension fund up at Celtic. How he got, I mean, whoever his representative is, how he got a 4-year contract is just incredible. And speaking of other players that are missing, we had another midfielder actually. Where are we? Brendan O'Reilly, no Scully and McGrath. Anthony Scully we touched on earlier. Obviously, I think he's League One as well, isn't he?
I wouldn't have McGrath. I wouldn't have McGrath anywhere near there at the moment.
Just want to clarify that Jamie McGrath has not played in months for Wigan. So he left St Mirren, and it was a very, very messy exit out of the club. He was linked with Premier League teams, he was linked with Championship teams, fell off the radar. He's had one good game for Ireland. That was against Portugal and Faro. He's fallen off there, and basically it was a very messy exit, and now he's playing League One, and he's not even warming the bench at Wigan. Now, they're obviously in the Championship, so hopefully pre-season he'll get going. But in case anyone's wondering why Jamie McGrath isn't in the squad, that is why. He hasn't played in months.
Yeah, and I think, though, he's an example of, you know, he done a good job for us in Faro at the time, but I think, you know, like, we're looking at 27, and you think of like CJ Hamilton and Abaseli. Coming into it, I think he likes to have 2 or 3 that he looks at. Basically, they're not actually going to be playing in his mindset, I don't think, but he likes them being part of the squad, learning kind of the tactical stuff, and on, you know, they have so many meetings and they go through things. I think he likes to have that. It's a good approach, I think. It's quite clever to bring in 2 or 3. You're not actually, so you bring in 27 players for your 24-man squad, 23 match day squad, obviously, but you bring them in, they're all part of it. And when you call them up again, at least they've been part and know the system again. I think he did it with Marcus Harness in the past as well. Now, I don't think he's going to be in many future squads unless he pulls up trees somewhere. But this is where I think that CJ Hamilton, bring him in, give him a taste of it, make him hungry for it. Because I think that's how he approaches even capping players. He has so many he brings in, and he actually doesn't cap them, and they're not even in the matchday squad, but they're around it. So I think that's a clever approach to it as well.
Another player as well that's missing from the squad, as you may have noticed, up front, is a certain notorious now at this level, especially here in the Green Machine, is Aaron Connolly. Probably not much of a surprise, gents, is it? He is nowhere near this squad, and the very fact that, and there's been a lot of stuff going around on Twitter. A certain guy, it's actually Fred did a podcast, by the way, but he seems to want to defend Aaron Connolly, and fair enough, I understand that. And apparently, if you criticize Aaron Connolly, you're not a true Ireland fan, which I completely disagree with. And I'm sure we all do here. However, when Shane Duffy was struggling at club level, as he currently is at the moment through injury, and certain things were going on at Celtic, Stephen Kenny brought him into the squad. It's like, I know what you bring. You're a good guy. I want to bring you in. I want you around my team. I want a happy dressing room. I want a happy locker room, whatever way you want to say it. And then you have Aaron Connolly, who's clearly struggling, and he's like, no. And when you see our forward numbers, they're not great. They're okay, but they're not great. There's a certain amount of dead wood there, like such as Hogan. That you could easily, if you really wanted to bring someone like Aaron Connolly as a striker, you'd put him there instead of Hogan, because obviously Connolly's the future, but he doesn't even have him anywhere near the squad. I mean, what does that really say about Aaron Connolly and his attitude and where his head is at right now?
Well, firstly, I mean, Connolly hasn't half as many goals as Hogan does this season. I don't know. Like the thing with Connolly, and I'll always kind of maintain this approach. At the moment, you don't know what's going on off the pitch, and you don't know how he's training and all this kind of thing. But when you judge it on the pitch, like he's not quite good enough at the moment. I honestly think when he's about 27, 28, he will be doing just fine. I don't think he's going to play for a top club, but I think he'll be fine. I think he's got the talent. I think he's got all the attributes there. He's a very pacey player. He's technically good. Good dribbler on the ball. Decent finisher. He's got a lot of it, but it's just about knuckling down and getting some of the breaks. Look, I'd hope Kenny is having discussions with him and kind of saying, look, this is exactly what you need to do. He might have said earlier in the season, you need to go out and loan to Middlesbrough and get a few games. And he's done that. Hasn't really worked out. Got a couple of goals, didn't he? As scrappy as they were still goals. But for some reason, Kenny is looking at him and just thinking, I don't fancy it. And he had him at under 21 level, keep in mind as well. So he's known him a long time personally.
Yeah, he's just not having him as he attitude wise and stuff. He basically he was bombed out of a previous squad. And I think it is just that crap of when even when we were playing down, and I remember the under-21 game that I went with the Welsh, and was he available for the game afterwards, and he was posting pitched on a beach, and Stephen Kenny didn't want to say whether he was available and in the squad still, and it's that kind of crap that's undermining the management, and it's just immaturity. Now look, we'll forgive him, he's 22, he's 21 then when he was doing all that, but he does have to knuckle down. Surely he's looking at Obafemi and thinking, fuck, that was me 2 years ago. I was in that position where he was, and I've wasted that opportunity, and now he's gone ahead of me. Is he asked? That's the thing I'd question. I mean, I know it sounds really harsh being on, and I am really quite a positive person and want them all to do well, but I don't know if he's half-arsed and wants to be a footballer. And he may well be that at 27, 26, 27, he is a good player and stuff, and he's had a career in the game. But his opportunity now to kick into this new Ireland is now, and he's wasting that opportunity.
He wants the footballer lifestyle, but does he want to be a footballer? And I understand to an extent when people are saying, "Look, go easy on the guy," but I don't think we're doing him any favors by not calling it out. As fans, we want our players to produce, and we want them to give everything. Has he demonstrated everything for Ireland? Certainly not. Has he demonstrated everything for Middlesbrough or for Brighton before that? I don't really know, but I don't think so. But in terms of his ability, in terms of what he offers and what he brings to a football pitch, or what he could bring, I think he can still be an excellent player. But he needs to have, like Obafemi was behind him, and Obafemi has turned it around. So why can't Connolly turn it around? I think he can, but at the moment, like he's loving the lifestyle too much, and he's not backing it up. He's not backing it up on the pitch.
And if you doubt that, listening to this, just look at Aaron Connolly's Instagram account. He's also himself elsewhere. And to wrap this up, we're going to go into the comments. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Stephen Kenny isn't somebody who holds a grudge, because Michael
absolutely not
has turned it around. He's back in the squad now, and hopefully he's going to start lashing in goals for the boys in green. Right, lads, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to go through some of the comments and answer a couple of quick fire questions as we go. I can answer this one. Oisin McLaughlin, lads, how are we? We're good. Thank you.
Very good, thanks.
Very, very good. And he continues, thank God Talbot hasn't been called up. So overrated.
Oh, sore subject for me now.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest, he's right, isn't he? Kieran Boyle, how are you lads from Stephen Hot, Florida? Keen making up numbers, sure you're not good enough for this level. Hashtag away to Jesus, bro. Hashtag bring back Adidas. Martin, you must have known Kieran was going to be on. You're wearing a lovely USA 94 jersey.
Yep.
Even though I'm wearing Umbro, Kieran's actually my spirit animal, I think.
He really is. I'll tell you what, actually, John Courtney, your best mate, Martin, he actually has shared some
really nice. Yeah.
Have you seen some of them, like the old
prototypes? Is it
the Adidas ones as well? Yeah, some really. I mean,
the questionable one was the orange sash one. That was, but that wasn't his. To be fair, but let's not put ideas in his head.
They're going to be the next kit now, aren't they? Those prototypes.
Well, I mean, he basically, they were an old Adidas prototype from the 80s, because it was the 1987 jersey, wasn't it? And if you look at like Forest, they were Adidas, and Ipswich Town were Adidas, and it was just that. Basically, it was just that model. It was that prototype. So it wasn't exactly his, or whoever was there. It was an actual Adidas prototype that they were using across the board. But anyway, we'll move it on. Irish Football Blog. All right, lads, how's it going? Thank you. Oh, by the way, I suppose I'll might as well. So Irish Football. Well, might as well. So Irish Football Blog, lads, if you're listening to this podcast, you like your podcast. They also have a podcast, and that's Pelcast. Am I saying that right?
Pelcast, I'd say.
Pelcast. So wherever you get your podcasts, like this one as well, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, so tune in there. They're good lads over there. And of course, as we all know, we're not afraid to share the love. And there's plenty of room for everybody that loves Irish football. Kavana H. Thomas, hello from Warsaw. Kai Big, how's it going, Kavana? Hope you're well over there. Won't be going to Poland this year, sadly. I'll get onto that in a second as to why. You going to Poland, Martin?
No.
Nick, you're just going to watch it North here, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll do my usual.
Yeah. John Ward, squad looks a little disappointed. No room for Danny McNamara, but his time will come. Yeah, we did touch on that earlier, John. Don't really know what else he has to do, but then it is defense. And
Cyrus is doing well. He's done very well.
Yeah, I think Martin, as he said, I think it's a case of putting Cyrus in the shop window, maybe give him a few minutes and
being a bit loyal there. But no, a big shout out to John there. He's a Risk London member, so good to see him watching along.
Good man, John. Brendan Riley, don't know if he's touched on it, lads, but Connor Ronan. And then he follows up, what's going on there? Actually, I can shed a bit of light on that, Brendan. I don't know whether it would have had anything to do with his final decision, but Connor Ronan was injured for St. Mirren's last 3 games. And just looking here on Flash Score, and it just says not in squad for their because he went back to Wolves, and basically his parent club basically said he wasn't in the squad. So I presume he has an injury now. Whether he would have got into the squad or not, that I do not know.
I think he's injured. Yeah, I think he's injured.
I think he's injured, but he probably wouldn't have got in. So that's just before we go. Let's have a quick goosey at the revised Republic of Ireland fixtures, brought to you by our sponsors. No to go to gate.com. So let's have a look here, lads. In June, which isn't very far away, we have Armenia on the 4th away from home. We have Ukraine on the 8th, that's at home. We have Scotland on the 11th, that is also at home. And we have Ukraine in Poland on the 14th, that's obviously away. Then in September, we have Scotland on the 24th, that's in Glasgow. And then we have Armenia on the 27th of September at home. And we do have that pre-World Cup warm-up friendly thing that we're sadly not involved in. But what can you do? We have we have one last comment. Well, a couple of comments. Michael Fitzgerald, I hope Cullen never gets injured as we have no one to replace him. Coventry should be in. I think he will be, him and Kilkenny, but they're going to be in the under-21 squad, which is announced tomorrow around the same time, although they'll probably announce it at 10 a.m. knowing the FAI. And then we have Kavanagh H. Thomas again. It's Thomas, not Kavanagh.
All right.
Then what? You have Kavanagh on it then.
H. Thomas. Yeah.
It's very high.
He protects his name. Oh, there you go.
Well, it's all out. It's all out now. It's all out now.
Sorry. Do apologise there, Thomas. I think I've fucked it for you there, lad. You are an excellent podcast. Only been listening about 6 months. Keep it up. No worries, Thomas. Not 5.
Thanks, Thomas.
Excellent. Thanks.
On its way to you, Darrell O'Connor. Just missing Armenia myself, and I'm doing Ukraine and Scots away.
Look, the fixtures the fixtures changes have fucked up everybody basically with revised things and stuff like that, other commitments and stuff. But no, we'll be covering the games, won't we, and chatting about them and previewing them and doing reviews afterwards. And look, I'm looking forward to it. 4 games, it's going to be competitive. It's going to be tough on the squad. I will expect additions. I think even after our under-21 games, I'd like to see, once they're finished, that a couple of the under-21s get kind of kept on with the seniors, especially give them a look at, even in helping out with training and stuff like that. Because I do expect, on the load bearing on the players, I think you're going to have some players dropping out. They're not all going to be able to play 4 games. Possible rotation of the keepers as well could happen. I know they're competitive, Nations League. We want to win this. That's what I'm really interested now to see what Stephen Kenny's press conference will be like. I hope it won't be as interesting or entertaining as this, lads. Let's be honest. But I don't think he'll be as damning of some of our players who aren't in the squad as we are. And I know he's transparent, Nick, but I don't think he's going to be referring to the Instagram accounts of some of our players. But looking forward to it, lads. It's going to be good. It's going to be absolute blast this coming up. I'm really looking forward to the games.
But that's why you tune in to us, because we give you honest and blunt analysis. I think was the old slogan we used to use at the very beginning. I can't wait for the games. Got my press passes. So I'm going to wear 2 of these now going forward. I'm going to be like Mr. T. I'm going to be wearing them all, like I say.
Pitiful.
I'll be like that. trying to dare my way down with them. I can't wait for it. And we will be doing some live shows from Lansdowne Roads, which is pretty, if I don't get COVID again, which happens. That's why I missed the Lithuania game. But anyway, lads, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming on. It was this very sort of breaking news last minute thing that we decided to do. So thank you so much for your input. Thank you very much for subscribing to the Green Machine podcast and of course our Facebook page. And actually, why not, lads? Let's have a cheeky little advertisement. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the JM podcast. Please also subscribe to lansdowneroad.ie. And if you want this show, the audio version of this show will be available, where all of our shows are as well, and they will be available on the greenmachinepodcast.com. If you don't want to use your Spotify, your Google, your Apple, and all those kind of places, they're all on there anyway, just in case. And of course, the most important message you must take from this day is do not use goatsgate.com. They are thieving bastards. And that note, we're going to love you and leave you, and we will be back. We've got loads of World Cup 2002 20th anniversary stuff being released. We got loads more that ain't going away, because just look at what Nick's wearing. He won't let us forget about 2002. So if you want to blame us on Saipan being mentioned again, blame Nick. Right?
Can't let go.
You just can't let go. We're out of time, lads. Let's do it. That is the wrong
Hey.
that's the wrong one again, God.
False alarm.
Welcome to the Green. No. Right, let's do it. Good night and God bless.